Hey friends, Dietitian Jamie here with our season 1 finale. We have worked our way through 12 episodes. At the recording of this in mid-August, we are at 800. Guys, over 800 listens. I get tears in my eyes just thinking about that. I know in the world of podcasting, that's not an enormous number, but that's an enormous number to me because I know those are real people behind those listens. And you guys pressed play, you shared, you left reviews, you replied to my emails, you told someone about this. And this little body and belonging community is actually happening. And for that, I am so grateful. You trusted me with your time, you trusted me with your earbuds, and you kept coming back. And for that, I am so grateful. We've been able to talk about some really great topics like mindful eating and presence and body respect and getting curious instead of critical and integrating our intellectual faith experience with how we actually live in our bodies. And especially those last 5 episodes, the body and belonging reset. Guys, I am going to keep pointing people back to that as kind of the entry to what it's like to work with me, my philosophy, what this whole body and belonging thing is all about. So that is where we are at 12 episodes into this. And I know you're saying like, wait, don't stop now. But as I look back at these 12 episodes, it is time for me to practice some of the exact things that I've been talking to you about. So I am practicing what I preach. And I am taking a podcasting pause here, and hopefully that is an invitation for you to also lean into rhythms of rest and creating margin. I started this podcast a couple months ago out of sheer obedience. It was absolutely something that had been on my heart for a long time, and it was time to start taking messy steps forward. So I did it imperfectly. I put my what I consider B- work out there in the world. Not that I wasn't giving it my all, but I wasn't going to let perfectionism get in the way. And turns out working on the podcast has been like the best part of my week the last couple months. I have thoroughly enjoyed working on it. I don't mind editing it. When I can come and sit in my closet and record in literal PJs and no makeup on and know that there's people out there listening to that, it's legitimately my favorite thing. With that said, I didn't really take anything off my plate in order to make margin for the podcast. So it has felt like a squeeze on my capacity. So I have some other things that will be wrapping up here in August and September that's going to give me some margin back in my week. Rest is also going to be very practical. We already have some camping and some family time scheduled in September where I get to be away from Wi-Fi and read actual books. And returning from that, I'm going to create some structure in my week with the kids going back to school that allows me to continue caring well for my one-on-one clients while also making some margin for what I believe is coming next with body and belonging. I am being so very cautious about what I add to my plate because if anything, I've learned in these last 12 episodes, I've learned that I like this. I want to do more of this, and I want to continue leaning into this. I don't know exactly what season 2 is going to look like. It is going to be more of the podcast, and that might be partnered with a course or a small group mentorship. Maybe it's something I haven't even thought of yet, and I'm giving myself permission to not know the details yet. Sometimes the next faithful thing isn't to do more. Sometimes the next faithful thing is to have the margin to reflect on what's working and what's not working and decide with intentionality what is next. Now, rest assured, I am not disappearing. I actually want your help. If you have been listening to this podcast, whether you've been connected with me for years over social media or whether you're brand new, I would genuinely love to hear from you. I am watching the stats to see which episodes get the most listens, but I really want to hear from the real person, not just the statistics. So, which episode resonated most deeply? Which topic did you have the biggest light bulb moment with? What would you like me to dive deeper into? Tell me, what are you struggling with when it comes to food, your body, or belonging? Is there something you'd like to hear more about, or a behavior that you keep trying to change and you keep feeling like you fall short? Your questions and your experience and your feedback is going to directly help me decide what we talk about next. One last thing. If you haven't joined my email list yet, that is absolutely the best way to stay connected while the podcast is paused. I will continue to send out Tuesday tips. You will be the first to hear about what's happening next with Body and Belonging. Thank you for being here for these first 12 episodes. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your questions. I'll be back for season 2. Until then, keep practicing coming home to your body. You don't have to rush what's next, and neither do I.